Have you ever baked something for someone, and when you see the look on their face when they take that bite, it just fills you with so much joy because you poured your heart and soul into making something sweet and nice and good for someone that you really care about? That is what Persephone's love for Hades is like. Persephone is a creator, the goddess of spring. She brings life, she creates life, she gives life. I mean, she is a fertility goddess after all. And not only that, but she also brings BAKLAVA, baked goods, things that come from the heart, things that take her time and energy and effort to create. Isn't that amazing? Thinking about how this goddess who can literally create life would still go through the trouble to create using raw ingredients. I think Persephone baking for someone, Persephone giving someone something that comes from her heart that she had to use outside elements to create, is the ultimate form of love. So what does that mean for Hades? Hades' job is thankless. He is the god of the underworld, the king of the underworld. But what does that really mean? He's associated with death. He's associated with the afterlife, with endings, with things coming to a close. Why would anyone want to willingly give Hades something? I don't think that the mortals of Lore Olympus ever offer Hades anything, like the other gods who get offerings and are given things by the mortals to help them gain something from those gods' powers. I don't know if Hades ever gets worshipped in the same way, at least in the Lore Olympus world. Because why would anyone give him anything? After all, he gets the most precious thing of all at the end of our lives, doesn't he? Gifts aren't given to Hades, because who wants to think of giving to death? And then came spring, Kor. And in her hands, she carried a little tray of BAKLAVA. And what does Hades do? Refuses it. Why? Because why would the king of death and the end accept anything from a goddess who brings life into this world? This is why Hades and Persephone's relationship creates the most beautiful and perfect dynamic for a story. When I think about Persephone's name as the bringer of death, I tend to think that she's not literally trying to create death. It's like she's bringing something to those who have already passed. She's bringing something to death. She brings life to them, hence Alcyon. In Lore Olympus, the only two people that we see Persephone give a gift to, a genuine gift that's made an actual moment of it, are Hades with the BAKLAVA and the really cute little Cerberus tie she found him, and Tartarus, who she gives honey from her bees. Something that again didn't come from her, something external that was more precious to her than what she could create just on a whim with her own powers. No wonder Tartarus loves her. And what do all three of these characters have in common? Loneliness. Tartarus, who is left down a million miles beneath Hades. Hades, who's left down 1,000 miles from everybody else above him in Olympus. And Persephone, someone who literally had to make her own friends. Imagine how that would feel, knowing that the people that are around you aren't there because they chose you, but because you created them. Demeter kind of was doing the same thing when she created Persephone. She created someone to help fill that void, that loneliness that she felt. Now that she has someone to fill it, she's selfish with it, which I understand, because loneliness is not something that is easy to just welcome back into your life, especially when she put so much effort into creating this daughter whom she loved and protected with all her life. But who was that for? Did Demeter really want Persephone to be protected from Olympus? Probably. I don't doubt that. But who was Persephone created for? She was created for Demeter. Loneliness is this thing that interweaves between all these major characters in Lore Olympus. And it's the thing that has both caused the most pain and the most love to appear in our main characters' lives. Hades was supposed to have his family by his side. They were supposed to not leave him alone. The one thing that he asked for when he was deemed king of the underworld. And then what happened? His brothers stopped calling him Adonis. They started calling him Hades. They started associating him with all the things that the mortals associated Adonis with. The king of death, the king of the underworld, Hades. In some way, it's almost derogatory. Hades is so associated with the role that he was given that he doesn't even get to be Adonis anymore. He doesn't get to be who he is outside of his role as the king of the underworld. And the same thing is going for Persephone. Persephone, the bringer of death. The only people who really had the chance to appreciate what Kor did individually, herself, were the flower nymphs that she created to be her best friends. Because she gave them life, like she was their protector. That was what she had. It's true that Demeter used to make spring without Persephone. It's no wonder that Persephone feels so unsatisfied and unfulfilled. Where is there a place where her powers will actually make a difference? Where she can actually feel like she makes a difference and she means something in her own life with her own powers? And then Tartarus comes in. Our giant, enormous, terrifying little being. Just like Hades, Tartarus accepts Persephone because she can see something beyond what the other gods can, just like Hades could. And it's that sense of loneliness. And when you are lonely, there are people that can emphasize that, you know? You know, like when you're really lonely and you're around certain people and you're just like, why is this worse? Isn't this what I wanted, to be around people? Think of Tartarus. Hades wasn't entirely given the choice in ruling the underworld. He was bestowed that grand honor, which it is, I'm not saying that it isn't, but he wasn't able to really choose the kind of god that he wanted to be. He didn't even really want to be a god. He just kind of wanted to exist. Wanted to exist not in his father's stomach. But he did go down to Tartarus, and he knew already from the beginning of his life what loneliness feels like. And then he sent down into the underworld to be alone again. But you know who understood him? Tartarus. And I don't think that anyone else could have gotten the pomegranate from Tartarus. Tartarus' blessing to be the ruler of the underworld, but Hades. None of them could have, because Hades understood loneliness, and Hades understood how precious, honestly, life is and people are. And I think that's what makes him such a great candidate to be the ruler of the underworld. He has such an appreciation for life and the little things that make you feel just less alone. You know when Tartarus asked Persephone to promise that she'll come visit? And then when Hades told Zeus he wanted him to promise that he wasn't going to be alone in the underworld? And then Persephone, who kind of blackmailed Hermes to be her friend? And Demeter, who created Persephone because she was so alone. It's just a string of loneliness, isn't it, in all of these characters' lives. Enough analysis. Now let's talk about how cute Hades and Persephone are together. Kor is a young goddess, and Hades has been around for a very long time. Yet, when they meet each other, they're both coming face to face with something totally new. Persephone knows that Hades is the king of the underworld, but she doesn't actually know him. And I think that's what's so cool, is that Persephone doesn't look at people and see them as a god of whatever they are. She looks at them and she sees them as people first. Hades, I feel like, has been so used to gods being gods and the way that they are on Olympus. There's not many chthonic gods that he has to talk to or learn from. So he kind of has this like perception of anyone who is not part of the underworld, OG underworld group, is a certain way. They wear him out. But Persephone is kind of a mystery to him, because even though she's a goddess, she doesn't really act like one. And even though he's a god, she doesn't really treat him like one. The thing with Hades is he's so afraid to accept an emotional connection. Hades' first emotional bond that he ever had was with his mother, and then that was taken away from him. I think that for so long he's been so scared to form an emotional connection with someone that's why he was with Minth, because he was lonely and he did need somebody to be there for him to satisfy his emotional needs in some way, but he didn't want it to be enough to where if he lost that person it was gonna hurt like hell, excuse the pun, if she was taken away. But then, in a very Darcy-esque, against his better judgment way, he falls in love with Persephone, with Kore, the goddess of spring. And can you blame him? She literally brought him, made him, and then brought him BAKLAVA. What in the world was he supposed to do about that very fact? About the fact that somebody made him a baked good? Who in the history of his 2,000 and something years on Earth, or wherever, I guess, in the universe, has ever brought him a baked good? Oh my god. And then when he texts her the picture, see, I'm a baker, and if somebody that I liked oh, it's already making me excited. If someone that I liked, if I gave them like a baked good and they texted me a picture that they ate it, I cannot, like, who do I'm like thinking of Hades. I don't even know, like, I don't know, but like, oh my god, that would be so cute. I would be like, okay, and he's not just texting her that picture for no reason. He didn't have to, and he did. And just think about the fact that Hades literally like used his phone, freaking went like, took a picture and texts her. That is the cutest thing in all of history. And that is why love is stored in the BAKLAVA. Okay, now I just want to list some things that I randomly just love about their relationship. Number 1, Hades is such a good listener. He just is so attuned to her in such a genuine and sweet way, and to me that's just really precious. As his relationship with Persephone went on and he started growing more fond of her and attached to her, he knew that he found something that was really special, something that he really needed in his life. And I think he was just taking so much care to make sure that he didn't do anything that would ruin it, or and then someone took her away anyway. They always take Hades' things away. That's so sad. All he wants is someone, and not just anyone. Someone who really sees him and knows him. And that's the same thing for Persephone. She just wanted someone to choose her, not because she was blackmailing them because they saw her swimming naked, or feeling like a burden because she's staying in someone's house and trying to, make her life in the city. She just wanted to experience being seen as Kore, and with all the amazing qualities that she possessed, since she was always around her mother's nymphs and people that her mother knew. And she had all of these accomplishments, but what did they even mean? Like, they're so meaningless when you're around people who are going to do nothing but like praise you pretty much because you made them, and then her mom made the other ones. It's kind of like she really needed to experience other people. And I think the problem with Demeter is that she, as much as she wanted to protect Persephone, was also really doing her a disservice by not allowing Persephone to be her own person outside of her mom's realm and her mom's world. So when she meets Hades, he's someone that is so different to what she's used to, and someone who's also not like, oh, what can you do? You know, oh, what are your powers? Oh, I'm, you know, because everyone in Olympus is like, this is who I am. It's about like who has the coolest power, who's the biggest superstar up on Olympus. In the underworld, everyone's just kind of there and they're not competing with each other, and that allowed her to actually have the space and the time to like understand who she, like figure out, work, physically walk in a world where she gets to test her personality and her strengths and figure out who she is. That's why Hades' realm meant so much to her. That's why it's not just her wanting Hades, but literally wanting the underworld, because it's the place that made her grow. It's the place that made her challenge everything that she has learned in her life and everything that she is, and put it to the test. She had the freedom to actually like, it's like if you were going to school your entire life and you never were out in the real world getting to know why the heck you even learned these things for. And then what's so special is that Hades is so, it's kind of like he doesn't expect her to be able to know everything, and yet he doesn't take advantage of that either, you know? Instead, he kind of like, he more than anything is supportive of her, and I just think it's so beautiful that both of them are able to see in each other the thing that they have like maybe hidden. Oh my god, that's what it is. They both help each other to see the thing that is hidden in themselves. With Persephone, her wrathful side, being with Hades allowed her to explore that and validated for having that side more than ever before. And Hades, on the other hand, he got to be soft and kind and deep and emotionally tender and soft, something that he hadn't really allowed himself to be in such a long time, aside from, you know, because we know that Hades is like ultimate best uncle vibes. Literally helped each other to be able to see these other sides of themselves just by being there. And even though they come from such different worlds of loneliness, of where Kor was around so many people, Hades, I would argue that he really wasn't around. I don't think he really was around many people, and the people that he was around, he wasn't emotionally connected to. Kor was emotionally connected to them, but because of that, they weren't able to see her as anything but like the little girl that they grew up with. And Hades, on the other hand, again, from the beginning of his life, he knew loneliness. Like that is the most I am just getting so many thoughts right now. This is crazy. Okay. From the beginning of his life, he knew loneliness. That's like his main thing. I'm just thinking, why blue and pink? Blue, the way that Rachel uses blue in Lore Olympus, it is loneliness. Pink, everyone underestimates pink. Persephone is pink as pink can be. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cry. Wow, that's so beautiful. Again, you know, it's like Hades said, he knows a lot about feeling blue. He does. Literally, I think that the fact that he was born blue, like, either condemned him or just like set him on the path that his whole life like loneliness was going to be such a key factor. And Persephone, the fact that she's like, you know, her mom made her out of like 1,000 or 1,000,000 pink roses, perfect pink roses. The fact that she's pink literally set her up for everyone in the future to just be like underestimating her because she's pinky, like Zeus called her in the beginning. If anyone, you would think maybe Aphrodite would be underestimated in some way, like because she is just like, she's beauty and she's grace and she's pretty. At least, like, no, like, this is not to shade, this is absolutely not to shade Aphrodite at all. I love her and I have so much respect for Aphrodite, the goddess, like, herself. So this is just like in Lore Olympus, but at least Kor literally can create life. Eros is also low-key underestimated. He's just kind of like the funny side character that they're like, because he's also pink. Kor's powers are really, they can be terrifying. I mean, she can make anything grow. Like, who knows what else she has the ability to do. Now, she can literally make bees fly out of her mouth. So imagine that. What does it mean to be the goddess of spring? Can she also make other animals appear? I mean, what comes alive during spring? There's so much that goes on during spring. So, I don't know, who are we to think that it's just flowers, you know? The goddess of spring. You know, in Hades Town, one of the big themes is, in love, is seeing someone and feeling like there's someone you've always known. And I think that that's what Hades and Persephone's love is like. They understand each other in such a way that it really was like they had always known each other. The fact that they felt so comfortable, the way that Persephone could just be herself and not try to be extra nice. Like, I feel like sometimes with Artemis, maybe she's kind of trying to be extra polite and stuff because, you know, she's a guest in her house, but because she also doesn't want to, I don't know, there is a version of her that people know. It's the version of her that's more people-pleasing, and Hades immediately just gave her the opportunity just in the way that he was and how he treated her like a person and not like he didn't underestimate her because she was a pink goddess. Actually, I would even go as far to say is he respected her more as a goddess than she did him at the beginning. But there was something there in both of them that allowed them to like just see each other. I gotta look up this lyric.
You didn't know how, and you didn't know why, but you knew that you wanted to take her home. You saw her alone there against the sky. It was like she was someone you'd always known.
That's exactly what their love is like. Ooh, they're so lucky. Ugh. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed me I just really wanted to talk about how much I appreciate the way that Rachel created their relationship and how much depth and how many things are layered underneath why they're together and how they ended up together and why they found each other and found solace in each other and connection and why it just works so well and how smart Rachel is to think of all these themes, even with color. Like now I feel like I understand the color a lot more now too. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I would love to hear your favorite little tidbits or moments, whatever it is about Kor and Hades' relationship. Comment them below and let me know if there's anything else Lore Olympus related or other webtoons, or I'm gonna get some other topics up here soon that you would like me to talk about. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Remember to like and subscribe, and I wish you all a beautiful day. Bye!